The day before my boyfriend and I were supposed to get engaged, he disappeared. The police found his blood-stained clothes by the seaside. Everyone told me to grieve. I neither cried nor made a fuss. Instead, I turned around and registered my marriage with his best friend. 5 years later, we ran into each other at a bridal shop. My boyfriend was there with a strange girl picking out a wedding dress. His friends quickly came to his defense. Jason was kidnapped back then, barely escaped with his life but lost his memory. Don't hold it against him. My boyfriend looked me over and said, "So you're my faded but ill-starred ex-girlfriend? You don't look that great. For the sake of your long-standing crush on me, I'll reluctantly marry you." I hadn't spoken yet. My 3-year-old daughter stood in front of me. "Uncle, don't bully my mommy, or I'll call my daddy to beat you up." Seeing the little girl suddenly appear, Jason frowned. His friend beside him looked puzzled. "Rachel, who is this little girl? Your goddaughter or something?" It's no wonder they overthink it. I was determined to marry no one but Jason. This stubbornness caused quite a headache for both families and friends around us. After Jason disappeared, everyone was afraid I might lose hope, so they tried to comfort me openly and secretly. I was too lazy to deal with Jason's group of fair-weather friends, so I said straight out, "You have the wrong person, I'm not your ex-girlfriend. Let me introduce, this is my daughter, my own flesh and blood." I picked up my daughter and was about to leave the bridal shop when the clerk called out from behind, "Miss, the wedding dress you ordered is ready." I didn't even turn my head, "Just throw the dress away. The remaining payment will be transferred to your account." Jason couldn't hold back and blocked my way before I left. "You're Rachel, right? I heard from my friend that the day before our engagement, I had an accident. Although I don't remember you, I will keep my promise. You don't need to bring a little girl to spite me." Jason put on an innocent face, but deep in his eyes was smugness. He was sure that since I loved him so much, there was no way I would marry someone else and have a child just because he disappeared for a few years. That was simply impossible. Then his gaze turned to the daughter in my arms. "Little one, tell Uncle, who is your mommy?" The daughter answered in a childish voice, "This is my mommy, my mommy's name is Rachel." Jason's smile did not fade at all. He still spoke gently, "Little one, lying is not a good behavior." Seeing that Jason wanted to persist, I interrupted directly, "Sir, you have the wrong person. If you keep this up, I will call the police and report you for harassment." Jason sulkily rubbed his nose and reluctantly made way. After confirming I had left, a friend beside him patted Jason on the shoulder. "Jason, it looks like you really overdid it this time. From the looks of it, Rachel is really angry." Jason waved his hand indifferently, "Don't worry, we've grown up together since we were kids. If I don't know her personality by now, I never will. At most, she'll be mad for a few days. After I play for another month, I'll tell her my memory has returned, and she'll definitely hold me and cry tears of joy." I held my daughter and returned to the villa. Ethan was cooking in the kitchen. Hearing the sound, my daughter happily threw herself into Ethan's arms. "Daddy, today at the bridal shop, a bad uncle bullied mommy. You have to stand up for mommy." The little one clenched her tiny fists, looking fierce but adorable. A cold glint flashed in Ethan's eyes as he was about to ask more, but his phone rang at that moment. "Baby, help Daddy get the phone." Ethan's hands were covered in grease, so he could only ask his daughter for help. My daughter's small hand fumbled in Ethan's pocket and skillfully turned on the speaker. "Ethan, I didn't check the almanac before going out today, and I ran into Rachel at the bridal shop. She seems really angry, and she even brought a little girl to upset me. This is serious. You're my best friend, you have to help me." Jason's voice came through the microphone, sounding especially loud in the spacious living room. Ethan's eyes changed, and he quickly hung up the phone. I looked at him with a half-smile. "Best friend, you really have to help him." My daughter's little head was full of confusion. "Dad, why does this person's voice sound just like the one who bullied mommy at the bridal shop?" Ethan quickly changed the subject. "Dinner's ready, let's eat. Jason and I have been childhood sweethearts, growing up together. Jason has a sunny and lively personality, is sweet-talking, and easily liked by girls. In college, to chase after Jason, I often ran to the dormitory building to confess. I sent love letters in his class and brought him breakfast. People around us were both envious and jealous. I made it clear that Jason is the boyfriend Rachel has chosen, and if anyone dares to bully him, don't blame me for being ruthless. Our families are well matched. He treats me very well, taking me skiing, skydiving, and to various business clubs. Everyone around accepted our relationship. The elders from both families picked an auspicious date and set the wedding. The day before the engagement, Jason disappeared. Everyone was mobilized, and eventually the police got involved. The police found Jason's blood-stained clothes by the seaside and suspected that something bad had happened to him. That night, I received a strange video. In the video, Jason was drinking a nuptial cup with a strange girl, laughing wildly and defiantly. Marriage is the grave of love, who wants to enter it so soon? I'll fake my death and play around for a few years, when I get tired of it, I'll marry Rachel. Meanwhile, you all help comfort Rachel so she doesn't lose her mind. Someone asked him, aren't you afraid Rachel will turn around and marry someone else? Jason sneered, rest assured, I know Rachel's personality well. Don't say I didn't die, even if I really died, she would remain a widow for me. The video abruptly ended there. All the sadness turned into a joke at that moment. The next day, I ran into Ethan, who was being pressured by his family to marry, at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau. I said, getting the license? Me and you. Ethan pushed up his gold-rimmed glasses, his face calm and expressionless, and simply replied, all right. On the third day, just like that, Ethan and I became legally married. We didn't hold a wedding, just got the certificate. We didn't inform any relatives or friends either. While eating, Ethan spoke up, I'm not satisfied with that wedding dress from today. I've already asked the designer to remake it. You should communicate your ideas and needs to the designer. I replied lightly, let's talk about it later. Ethan frowned, you don't intend to let my daughter be an illegitimate child for life, do you? I put down my chopsticks. Ethan, we agreed back then that I would help you deal with those flirty women and the family's pressure to get married, and you would keep an eye on Jason's movements. If it weren't for that drunken accident, I wouldn't have had this child. When I found out I was pregnant, I was going to have an abortion. It was only because you kept assuring me that I decided to keep the baby. If you're worried about people gossiping about her, you could easily give her the status of a G family daughter. As for my identity, I'm not ready to make it public yet. Ethan sneered coldly, hugged his daughter, and turned to leave. A month passed like this, with Ethan intentionally or unintentionally suppressing Jason's company. A month later, Jason sent me a message but found no reply. He called me but realized he had been blocked. He used a friend's phone to call me. Rachel, I have good news for you. My memory has returned. I said nothing and hung up immediately. Jason thought I hadn't heard, so he sent me a message again using a friend's phone. Rachel, I have good news for you. My memory has returned. I am Jason. Thank you for your hard work all these years. From now on, I will bear your storms. Call me back after you see this message. I miss you. Ethan's eyes turned cold as he immediately replied to the message. My wife is taking a shower and it's inconvenient right now. If you have something to say, just tell me directly. Jason instantly lost his composure and started bombarding with calls. Ethan blocked and deleted him without any hesitation. The next day, Jason waited on the road I had to pass. Seeing me driving alone, he sighed in relief. Rachel, I brought you your favorite xiaolongbao. Look, they're still fresh. Jason said as he casually opened my car door and got in. The smell of the xiaolongbao filled the entire car, and I frowned. Get out. Jason paused. Rachel, are you still mad at me? I had amnesia back then, I really didn't know our relationship. If I had known, I definitely wouldn't have said things to hurt you. Before I could speak, Jason proudly placed the xiaolongbao in front of me. The poor quality meat smell made me want to vomit. I snatched the breakfast from his hand and threw it out the window into the trash can. I never eat soup dumplings. I looked at him and spoke word by word. Jason patted his head in frustration. Rachel, sorry, I just regained my memory and haven't remembered your taste yet. My fault. What do you like to eat? I'll ask the driver to buy it for you. I'll say it again, get out of the car. I gave the final ultimatum with a cold face. Jason still grinned cheekily. Rachel, I really know I was wrong. How about you hit me twice to vent? I'm back safe now, and the elders of both families are still waiting for our marriage. You've been angry for so long, you should be done by now. Our feelings over so many years can't be given up just because of this little thing. I was too lazy to say more and directly called the security to throw him out. Just as I got rejected, Jason's little girlfriend showed up. Brother Jason, didn't you say you were going to buy me breakfast? This girl was the one I met last time at the bridal shop. She looked about 20, with a bit of baby fat, quite cute. Jason really has a good eye for girlfriends. Vivian, be good, I have something to do now, you go back by yourself first. Jason said as he slipped a card into the girl's hand. There was 100,000 yuan on the card, the password was your birthday, buy whatever you want, and if it's not enough, just tell me. After a lot of coaxing, he finally got the girl to leave. Vivian worked part-time at a milk tea shop, was 22, came from a poor family, where boys were favored over girls, forcing her to drop out and work to support her brother's education. After learning this, Jason waved his hand and directly bought the milk tea shop, and also bought her a villa. Jason's clothes were left on my car. As soon as I came over, I witnessed such a scene. Your clothes have dirted my car. I threw the clothes at his feet. Jason's eyes lit up. Rachel, you still can't bear to part with me, can you? Otherwise, you wouldn't have come personally to deliver my clothes. Things aren't as you see them. I think that girl just now was pitiful. You don't know how terrible her parents are. I cut off his rambling directly. I have no interest in her family matters. Jason wanted to say something else, but my phone rang at that moment. I answered it right in front of him. Honey, why haven't you come up yet? The phone was on speaker, and the voice went straight into Jason's ears. Something came up on my end, I'll be there soon. Ethan's voice came through again, alright, honey, take it slow on the road, be safe. The baby and I are waiting for you at the usual place. Love you. A strong force hit me, and Jason snatched my phone away. You're an actor hired by Rachel, right? How much did Rachel pay you? I'll give you double, no, 10 times that. Ethan's voice turned cold. Jason, I'm Rachel's husband. I don't want you to bother us anymore. Jason felt the voice was familiar but still couldn't figure out who was on the other end of the call. Just as I was about to ask more, the phone gave a shutdown warning. I rubbed my forehead, realizing I left in such a hurry that I forgot to charge it. Snatching the phone back, I turned and walked away. Rachel, you don't have to be mad at me like this. That person just now was a professional actor you hired, right? I have to say, it really seemed like the real deal. Jason slapped his forehead in frustration, almost forgetting the important matter. There's a business gathering tonight, and I'm representing the family. Don't forget. I came to Ethan's office, where his daughter was quietly playing with building blocks. Ethan's office had always been dominated by dark gray tones. Since his daughter came, he set up a small playground in one corner of the office. Ethan's original lounge was also converted into a children's room. When I came up, Ethan had his back to me, standing in front of the huge floor-to-ceiling window, looking down at everything below. From that angle, everything that had just happened at the door was in full view. At the business gathering tonight, I plan to reveal your identities. Ethan didn't waste a word and got straight to the point. I disagreed. I refused outright. The reason? Ethan was concise. You know better than I do, the alliance between the two great families. Before I could finish, Ethan interrupted directly. Don't use that grandiose excuse to brush me off. Whether it's family conflict or for Jason, you know the truth in your heart. Ethan closed in step by step. An overwhelming sense of pressure hit me, and I took an uneasy step back. He grabbed my chin. Rachel, a person's patience is limited, don't push me to my limits. I slapped his hand away, my voice turning cold. Ethan, no one can force me to do something I don't want to do, including you. If you feel mentally unbalanced, we can end this anytime. The Civil Affairs office is open tomorrow as usual, we can go get the divorce certificate whenever. Ethan looked at me for a long moment, his eyes holding an expression I couldn't understand. I hadn't intended to come to the business gathering tonight, but my daughter sneaked out while we weren't paying attention. Miss Rachel, I'm truly sorry. I thought the little lady had your permission to come find you. The butler kept apologizing. Ethan's eyes also turned cold. If the child loses a single hair, none of you need to stay here. I played the voice message my daughter left me. Mommy, please don't fight with Daddy anymore. It's all that bad uncle's fault. Baby is going to find that bad uncle to settle the score, so he can never bully Mommy again. The car sped down the road, running through several red lights. Upon arriving at the destination, Ethan asked the security guard at the door, but the response was that no little girl had been seen coming in. I called my daughter's phone watch countless times, but it kept showing that it was turned off. Ethan mobilized everyone he could. Ethan and I split up to search. Just as I turned around, I ran straight into Jason, who was accompanied by Vivian dressed in formal attire. Jason's eyes lit up. Rachel, I knew you would come. Who was that just now? Due to the angle, Jason only saw Ethan's back. At this moment, I was too tired to exchange pleasantries and went straight to the point. Jason, I'm asking you, where is my daughter? Jason looked puzzled. What daughter? Rachel, you've done enough acting, if you keep it up, it's going too far. Vivian looked at me with eyes full of hostility. I couldn't be bothered to pay attention to them and turned to leave. You're talking about that little girl wearing a floral dress, with two little buns in her hair, holding a little bunny doll, right? Vivian's voice made me stop in my tracks. Where is she? I hurriedly asked, taking quick steps. My anxious demeanor scared Jason standing nearby. Rachel, you're overacting a bit. I know you're trying to get my attention. Shut the hell up. Unable to bear it any longer, I shouted loudly. Vivian was startled as well. I don't know. I grabbed her by the neck and asked again, where is she? Vivian's face flushed red. I really didn't know. I just happened to run into her while shopping. That little girl asked me if I knew Brother Jason, she said she was looking for Brother Jason. Under my intense gaze, Vivian nervously continued, then I said I didn't know him and left. After that, I didn't run into her again. Do you really think I'm stupid? I'm telling you, if anything happens to my daughter, I'll make sure you go down with her. Leaving that sentence behind, I turned and ran outside. Vivian's words were half true, half false. But there wasn't much time to waste with her now. I quickly called Ethan and asked him to check the surveillance footage at the intersection and the store entrance. It was true that Vivian unexpectedly ran into my daughter, but judging by the way she avoided my gaze afterward, I knew she was hiding something. After checking the surveillance footage from various locations, I discovered that my daughter had gotten into an unlicensed car. I followed it all the way to a remote mountain village, with no village ahead and no shops behind. Ethan arrived with his bodyguards. Fearing for my daughter's safety, we split up to search. When we found her, she was filthy all over, and the little dress she was wearing was torn by branches. My daughter cried bitterly, tears streaming down her face, clutching my clothes tightly in my arms. Mommy, baby thought I would never see you again. Baby was so scared, Mommy, boo-hoo-hoo. After confirming that my daughter was unharmed, I turned to the rural couple nearby. This little girl was bought with my money to be my son's child bride. Don't even think about taking her away. The man spoke roughly, with the demeanor of a thug. Exactly, we paid for it. If you dare to take her away, I'll call the police immediately. The old woman also viciously chimed in beside her. I couldn't help but laugh in anger. The thief crying, "Stop, thief." I held my daughter in my arms and whispered softly, "Baby, wait here for mommy for a moment, mommy will be right back." Although she was very scared, as long as it was me, my daughter always obeyed without question. I covered the little one's eyes with a silk scarf. "Baby, count from 1 to 100, and mommy will come to carry you away." With her eyes covered, my daughter seriously started counting on her little fingers. 1, 2, 3. My gaze suddenly turned cold. I took a few steps to the couple, grabbed a chair nearby, and smashed it down on their heads. Having trained in Taekwondo for several years, I couldn't handle Ethan, but dealing with these two was more than enough. By the time Ethan arrived with his bodyguards, it was already nearing the end. The couple was bruised and battered, blood still flowing from their heads, their eyes swollen into large lumps. They lay on the ground, glaring at me with hatred. "I'm going to call the police, I'm going to make sure you rot in jail." I rubbed my aching wrist and said, "The one who should call the police is me. Let me educate you a bit. Child trafficking usually carries a sentence of 5 to 10 years. I've already reported this to the police for you. As for you two, just wait to rot in jail." Believe me, I am absolutely qualified to say this. My daughter's counting was coming to an end. I gently picked her up and started to walk out. Passing by Ethan, I glanced at him and said, "The rest is up to you." After returning home, my daughter's emotions gradually calmed down. She told me about asking for directions earlier that day. She asked Vivian if she knew Jason. Vivian mistakenly thought she was Jason's daughter and told her that as long as she got into that car, she could find Jason. And my daughter, completely unsuspecting, got into that car. My daughter raised her innocent little face to me and said, "Mommy, why did that lady lie to me? I got into that car, but I couldn't find the bad uncle who bullied you. They were mean to me, yelled at me, and didn't give me any food. They said I was disobedient and would starve me for a few days. I felt so miserable today, but when I saw mommy come, I didn't feel so bad anymore." After my daughter fell asleep, Ethan finally came in with the medical kit. "That Vivian, I'll handle her." Ethan was filled with a cold aura. This time, Vivian had truly touched his nerve. He grabbed my wrist and rolled up his sleeve. There was a large swollen area on his arm. "No need, I can handle it myself." I shook my head. Ethan was applying medicine to my wrist with some force, and suddenly a sharp pain shot through my wrist. Ethan said coldly, "I'm not asking for your opinion." Realizing his tone had become harsh, he softened it and continued, "That couple will never get out of this life. The driver who trafficked the daughter has also been caught." I softly responded with a "hmm." "Ethan will handle all these matters well." The two of them sat in silence, Ethan quietly applying medicine. Just as I was about to ask him to leave, he suddenly said, "Still thinking about rekindling things with Jason?" I suddenly tried to pull my wrist away, but Ethan seemed to know my temper all too well. He gripped my wrist, not letting me escape. Ethan continued, "Rachel, try me. I'm no worse than Jason." Before I could speak, his phone rang inappropriately. It was an unknown number. Ethan was about to hang up, but I said, "Answer it." Could it be that something happened to that driver? As soon as the call connected, Jason's voice came through again. "Ethan, is your phone broken? I can't get through to you, and it seems Rachel really has a daughter. You want me to bring Vivian to the banquet?" Although Ethan quickly hung up, Jason's voice came through word for word. When he couldn't explain, Ethan chose not to explain. The next day, without a word, I headed straight to Vivian's shop. Unfortunately, Jason was there too. "Miss Rachel, you." Vivian stepped forward. I slapped her directly. The slap was hard, and Vivian's face immediately swelled up. On the third day, Jason reacted quickly, pulling Vivian behind him. "What are you doing?" I looked at him coldly. "Step aside, or I'll hit you too." Jason widened his eyes. "Are you crazy? If there's something to say, say it. Why resort to violence?" If Vivian has offended you, let me apologize to you on her behalf. Jason kept defending her, and I just felt my anger about to burst out. Jason, this matter is none of your business. Because of her, my daughter was sold to a remote mountain village. If I hadn't found out in time, who knows how much suffering she would have endured. This debt, if I don't seek from her, then from whom? Saying the last sentence, I shouted out loud. Jason said blankly, that little girl, is she really your daughter? I thought. Then he turned to look at Vivian. Vivian, you really? Vivian covered her face, tears streaming down, biting her lip, her eyes firm. I didn't do it. Miss Rachel, if you want to wrongfully accuse me, at least find a better reason. Jason turned to look at me. Rachel, could it be that you are mistaken? Vivian has always been kind, this matter should have nothing to do with her. Vivian also chimed in, Miss Rachel, catching a thief means catching the stolen goods, and catching a cheater means catching them in the act. Show me the evidence so I have nothing to say. From the angle where Jason couldn't see, the pride and arrogance in Vivian's eyes were about to overflow. Vivian had majored in computer technology in college, and erasing that segment of the surveillance footage was nothing difficult for her. But what she didn't know was that restoring that erased segment of the footage was just as easy for me. I brought that footage to Jason, catching the culprit red-handed. I will hand this video over to the police, as for how they handle it, that's their business. But before that, let's settle the score from before. On the surveillance footage, after my daughter got into the car, the cruel smile on Vivian's face lingered in Jason's mind. It was as if he was seeing Vivian for the first time, and he remained silent for a long while. I directly went around to face her and grabbed her hair, smashing her head against the wall. Brother Jason, save me. Jason snapped out of his daze, grabbed my arm tightly, and for the first time spoke to me softly, Rachel, for the sake of our many years of friendship, let Vivian go this once. I promise, this will never happen again. I immediately shook off his arm, showing him with my actions that it was impossible. Seeing me approach again, in a panic, Jason grabbed a nearby vase and smashed it down on my head. Rachel, are you okay? I didn't mean to, don't be afraid, I'll take you to the hospital. Jason was flustered. Vase shards scattered on the ground, accompanied by drops of bright red blood. Everything turned red before my eyes, I just felt a sharp pain in my head and my whole body seemed drained of strength. I staggered, pushing away the arm Jason used to support me, struggling to get up. Rachel. When I fainted, I fell into a spacious embrace. Ethan's voice, full of anger, rang in my ear. When I woke up groggily, the first thing I saw was Ethan's anxious face. Rachel, hold on, don't fall asleep. I wanted to tell him I was fine, but before I could speak, my consciousness slipped back into darkness. I stayed in the hospital for a whole month. During this time, Ethan didn't allow anyone to disturb me. Jason came a few times but was immediately thrown out by Ethan's bodyguards. Ethan really lost his temper this time, launching an indiscriminate attack on Jason's family company. In just 1 week, Jason's family company suffered heavy losses. Jason stormed into the hospital and caused a scene, asking Ethan why he did this. Ethan replied with just one word, get lost. This path is a dead end, and Jason is scheming against me again. After my injury healed and I returned home, Jason sent a large bouquet of roses to the villa with a note, the most beautiful flowers for the most beautiful you. I immediately ordered the bodyguard to throw them away and disinfected the air. Ethan came down from the 2nd floor and happened to see this scene. You two grew up together, and he still doesn't know you're allergic to pollen? What seems like an innocent remark is actually a trap at every step. This guy is sly and cunning. I glanced at him and shot back, we grew up together too, and I didn't know you were doing so many things behind my back. That video, you sent it to me anonymously, didn't you? Ethan didn't deny it either, he just didn't want you to be fooled like a fool. In the time that followed, Jason occasionally staged chance encounters. Ethan pushed up his gold-rimmed glasses. Vivian's shop was reported for illegal operations and serious tax evasion. Some people found foreign objects in their drinks, and others suffered from vomiting and diarrhea after drinking, with various symptoms continuously appearing. Vivian was taken away directly for investigation. Jason was frantic and tried every possible way to get her out. Ethan also pressured the police, but Jason was at a loss for a while. He came to me and said, "Rachel, no matter how much we quarrel, Vivian is innocent. Can you show some leniency? Do you know that once she has a criminal record, Vivian's life will be ruined forever? Don't deny it, I know you are the one behind all this. As long as you agree to release Vivian, I can marry you immediately." He paused and continued, "Last time I acted impulsively, but you were fine, and Ethan also broke ties with me because of you. For your sake, he caused my company huge losses. I won't hold these against you, let's just put this behind us." Hearing this, I immediately laughed. If it were before, I would still have cared about the bond we formed growing up together. But from the moment he picked up the vase and smashed it at me, there was no longer any affection between us. Jason, debts must be repaid, and murder demands justice. The moment Vivian dared to set her sights on my daughter, she should have anticipated the consequences. I simply waved my hand and sent her away. "Rachel, I don't want to take things to the extreme and damage the years of friendship between us. As long as you agree to release Vivian, I can choose not to turn this in." Jason slowly took a voice recorder out of his pocket. "The conversation just now has already been recorded." "Rachel, don't push me," I said indifferently. "Then go ahead and hand it over. Let's see if you can get her out." The next day, Jason was grounded at home. Ethan told me that Jason took a voice recorder to the police station, trying to prove that I was the one scheming behind the scenes to frame him. On the third day, however, when he turned on the voice recorder, everyone was stunned. What played back was not a conversation between the two of us at all, but a song. "Pig, your nose has 2 holes. Pig, your nose has 2 holes. Pig, your nose has 2 holes." Cheerful music echoed throughout the entire hall. Everyone's expressions were incredibly lively. The matter was quickly exposed by the media. The eldest son of the Lee family squandered a fortune on a country girl and lost all face at the police station. Various rumors emerged, and Jason's reputation was ruined within the circle. The elders of the Lee family were tough, but Jason was even tougher. He directly stated that if they wanted him to marry Rachel, then Rachel had to release Vivian, otherwise, everything was off the table. This statement angered the Lee family elders so much that they immediately enforced the family rules. The Lee family tried to come to our door to seek reconciliation but were turned away each time. Seeing that things weren't working on my side, the Lee family went straight to my parents. I waved my hand to indicate that this matter need not be mentioned again, and the engagement was directly cancelled. "If the Lee family comes again next time, just kick them out without any courtesy." With Ethan's instigation, Vivian was sentenced to 15 years. Upon hearing the news, Vivian went mad. After evaluation by the relevant authorities, she was directly sent to a mental institution. When Jason found out, he neither made a fuss nor complained, but just gave me a complex look. 2 months later, someone quietly disappeared from the mental institution without anyone noticing. That day, my daughter's kindergarten teacher called me. "Mom of Luna, did you pick up your child?" The teacher's tone was cautious. I was stunned. Wasn't my daughter at the kindergarten? She was there in the morning, but I didn't see her during the recent activity. I thought her parents had picked her up. "Luna's mom, please don't panic. We're looking for her right now." The teacher's voice was urgent, almost on the verge of tears. After hanging up, I immediately called Ethan. Upon learning that our daughter was missing, Ethan canceled his meeting and ordered the bodyguards to start searching. I received a message on my phone. "Your daughter is in my hands. If you want her safe, come alone to the rooftop of the city center hospital. If you bring anyone, I'll push your daughter off right away. Vivian." My eyes turned completely cold. What was originally a 40-minute journey, I sped through, running several red lights, and arrived in 15 minutes. On the rooftop, the daughter's hands and feet were tied, her small face full of grievance. Vivian stood with her daughter at the edge of the rooftop. With just a little force, the daughter would fall down. I steadied myself and said, "What do you want?" Vivian's expression was somewhat deranged. "Rachel, you have this day too. If you want me to let your daughter go, fine. Kneel down and beg me, and I'll let her go." I shook my head. "You won't. Even if I kneel and beg you, you won't. What you want is nothing but revenge on me." I turned my gaze to my daughter. "Baby, don't be afraid, Mommy is here." Vivian's eyes grew cruel. "Why? Why were you born as the high and mighty young lady? Why does everyone revolve around you? Why should I be born into such a miserable family? I am unwilling to accept it." I sensed that Vivian's mental state was a bit off, so I didn't dare to provoke her any further at that moment. "Do you know how I spent those 2 months in the asylum? They beat me, threw dead rats on my bed, splashed cold water on me to wake me up while I was asleep, and whenever something displeased them, they would beat me with sticks. I wanted to die, but even death was a luxury I couldn't afford. Rachel, I want you to know that sparing my life was your biggest mistake." A shiver ran through me. "Ethan, he even arranged people inside the asylum. Vivian, you are still young and have a bright future ahead. Are you sure you want to ruin it like this?" I paused, then continued, "Release my daughter, I'll give you some money, you can run far away, and no one will care about your criminal record." Vivian burst out laughing. "Rachel, do you think I'm still afraid of dying? Right now, I just want to drag you down to hell with me." Seeing the situation spiraling out of control, I urgently spoke up. "What about Jason? Are you really willing to give up on him?" Hearing that name, Vivian's eyes trembled, and her hands froze in place. She murmured to herself, "Brother Jason doesn't want me anymore. It's all because of you. Brother Jason saved me from the asylum but then cut ties with me." As she spoke, her gaze turned cold and vicious again. "Rachel, why does everyone have to revolve around you? Do you know? Every time I try to mold myself to your personality and preferences, it's so Brother Jason will pay attention to me. He said countless times that he likes me, but never once said he loves me. I know, I have always known, he is looking at you through me. Your personality is strong and unwilling to bow, which is why Brother Jason cultivated an obedient Rachel. And I am your most perfect substitute. After he hurt you that time, he got completely drunk. It was his first time being drunk. He picked up a fruit knife and stabbed his own arm fiercely. If it hadn't been discovered in time, that arm would have been ruined. No, Jason loves you." I looked at her and directly told her about Jason threatening me for her sake. Vivian's eyes were unfocused. "Is that so? Brother Jason did so much for me?" After a long moment, she shook her head again. "You're lying to me, don't even think about fooling me." Jason's voice came from behind. "Vivian, don't keep making mistakes." Vivian trembled, her eyes darting away. What she feared most was Jason seeing her at her worst, but the more she feared it, the more it happened. Jason was drenched in sweat, breathing heavily, clearly having run all the way here. "Sorry, Rachel, for causing you trouble." Seeing Jason's gaze land on me again, Vivian went mad. "Rachel, I will make you regret this for the rest of your life." With that, she fell backward with her daughter. No. Behind us was a dizzying height, and falling meant no chance of survival. Before my mind could even process it, my body had already reacted instinctively. A figure dashed out, and Jason was the first to grab Vivian's clothes. I lay on the edge of the rooftop, tightly holding the rope tied to my daughter, pulling her up little by little. Just as my daughter was about to be saved, disaster struck again. Vivian's eyes darkened as she shook off Jason's outstretched hand. She held her daughter's small body tightly, all the weight pressing together, and I was thrown outward. At the critical moment, Jason grabbed my other hand. Vivian's and my bodies were suspended in midair. "Vivian, do you want Jason to die with you?" I shouted angrily. Vivian's body stiffened, she looked up and gazed blankly at Jason. "Brother Jason, I'm sorry. Also, I love you." After saying this, she let go and allowed her body to fall. No. Jason's eyes were filled with rage and despair. Fortunately, Ethan arrived just in time. My daughter and I were rescued safely. Jason fell to the edge of the rooftop, his eyes full of pain. My daughter was also deeply frightened and underwent psychological recovery for a whole month. Jason left a letter and left. Rachel, I'm sorry for causing you so much trouble. Because of me, your daughter almost lost her life. Because of me, Vivian lost hers. I am filled with regret and self-blame, but it's all in vain. When I first met Vivian, she was just like you in college, confident and flamboyant, kind with a hint of sharpness. Sometimes I can't even tell whether I loved you or her more. When I hurt you that time, I wished I could cut off my own hand. When Vivian died, I just felt an emptiness in my heart. Maybe I really am the scumbag they say I am, a heart that loved two women at the same time. I'm leaving, and maybe I'll never see you again in this life. In the next life, if we meet again, I will surely hold your hand tightly. I will never be fickle again. In this life, I'll leave you to Ethan. I hope you will always be happy and joyful. I will never meet trash like me again. Goodbye. I held the letter, gazing into the distance, silent for a long time. Ethan stood behind me, silently keeping me company.